Vlogpose here with episode 11 of Future Diary. So, this one starts off with Kurisu is at Ninth's cabin. He's on his knees and Ninth has a gun to his head. And he says, hey, look, okay, I'll take the cops off you for the time being and I'll give you a new direct line to new intel that comes in. And she's like, why are you doing this? He says, my back is against the wall and I know that Yuki and Yuno won't do anything. Because basically, they still think that they're friends and everything. And he says, Kurisu says, I have one condition. So, what is that condition? We don't know yet. But, we have our intro, and then Yuki's walking down the street, and he's thinking, well, if Yuno is if Yuki is the closest thing, if he's thinking to himself, it's like, okay, if I'm the closest thing that Yuno has to a stable relationship, then what does that make me? And he's looking at the photo from the previous episode, and as Yuki thinks about all this, he is ambushed by Nishijima and a bunch of other guys in suits who want to take Yuki down to the station. So Kurisu is in interrogation and asks for Yuki to come first, and it's like, oh yeah, give him about 5 minutes. So while they're sitting there, Yuki's looking around, he's all nervous and everything, all the cops are just staring at these two kids, and Yuno goes in psycho mode, and she's like, it's us against them. We need to get out of here. We need to find a weapon. So she's like climbing over the bench behind her and under the bench or whatever. He's like, no, it's okay. We'll deal. We're in this together. And she's like, okay, and she's back to normal. So we got to see kind of the psycho eyes. It's not as psycho as it was in previous episodes. Like, look at episode 5 just to see what I'm talking about with, psycho eyes. So these are just, when the glaze over the eyes disappears in anime, then you know something's wrong, and Yuno is known for that. Yeah. So anyway, he's like, yeah, don't worry. Kurisu's a man of his word. He hasn't done anything to betray us, so we've got nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Kurisu is cleaning his gun and interrogation. I can't say interrogation today. I don't know why. Interrogation. Okay, works. Yeah, and so he's talking to Yuki when Yuki comes in there. He's like, we have. I took notes here so that way I can actually keep up with what I'm saying instead of what was I going to talk about. I don't remember what I was going to say. I actually have notes here. So if you look, yeah, okay. So he's asking, what would happen if somebody says that they can pin you to the crime of murdering 10th? Yuki says, well, that's BS. It's clearly not true. So 4th shows him his phone and says, yeah, I know. You're in the clear. Don't worry. So basically, Yuki's phone, or Yuki's thing on 4th's phone says no relevant information. So like, yeah, you're in the clear. Don't worry. Oh, okay. Hey, how about a friendly game of Russian roulette? What? Yeah, so, they're playing Russian roulette. That makes Yuno's phone go off because that could potentially kill Yuki. So Yuki's now in danger. And, so Yuno sneaks after one of the cops that walks away into a restroom and she's got a fire extinguisher. What is she with fire extinguishers? That's like the 2nd or 3rd time she's had one in the series. Conks him over the head. Nishijima walks in. He gets conked on the head. Meanwhile, they're going back and forth. And Kurisu's trying to justify it and that he can't shoot an innocent kid, but if either Yuki were to get shot or if himself were to get shot, then that would start a crime, which would then start appearing on his phone, wouldn't it? Dun dun dun. And then, yeah, so Yuki's really confused. He's like, what are you talking about? I thought we were in this together. We were going to take down the other diary users. And 4th's like, things have changed. I actually have a reason now to actually win this game. We know that has to do with his request at the beginning of the episode. But yeah, things are starting to get serious because 4th's willing to go this extra mile to do this. Fortunately, Yuno walks in right when the final bullet was pointed at Yuki, or the only bullet, I should say. It's Russian roulette, and so she comes in, bang, 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 right in the chest or whatever, and one shot to the ear. We can't really tell that it's the ear at first, but he does say, "Well, all things considering, I just lost an ear." But now, Yuno is now in Fourth's phone because she shot a cop. So, of course, that's going to show up in a case diary. And anyway, Nishijima's right there, and Yuno goes into psycho mode again, and they end up taking him hostage. So, while running, they're going up the stairs or whatever, and there's a cop, and he shoots a warning shot, and Yuki turns around and shoots that cop, and so then that puts Yuki on the list of crimes for the case diary, and so Fourth's like, excellent. So he's laying there, he's got a pool of blood next to his head, because again, he got shot in the ear. That's a lot of blood, but I've never been shot before. I've never been shot in the ear, so I guess that makes sense, but how could there be that much blood here? There's like no... whatever. That might be true. I guess that's not relevant. And Fourth said something really interesting of saying, and I'm paraphrasing this, he says, he's a cop, so he can't justify killing innocent kids, but if he upsets them and backs them into a corner until they do something, they aren't so innocent anymore. It's a really dark and twisted thing to say and think. But, well, Fourth's kind of proven to us that he's not really that good of a guy. I mean, think about what he just did. He's framing two innocent, well, 1.5 innocent, one innocent and one not yet convicted 14-year-old. Let's go with that. But there was something else that I thought was interesting. Okay, so Yuno's phone goes off, she's got a dead end, and it basically is saying, paraphrasing, that Fourth kills the second. Whereas on Yuki's phone, Fourth kills me. Which is interesting when you think about how Yuki barely keeps himself into anything. Now, I've seen the kills me or I die or whatever, but Yuno's phone, that was actually a very interesting thing that hers just says kills the second, not kills me. I might be reading too much into that, but that's definitely something that caught my eye this time watching. What do you guys think on that? Try to leave spoilers free in the comments, but if you do, make it so that way you gotta click on the spoiler thing to see the spoiler, but I think I know what it is, but anyway, that was just something interesting. Anyway, moving on, Kurisu is now bandaged like a mummy, so he's kind of freaky looking now, and he's got an announcement over the intercom saying that these two kids have shot cops, don't let them walk out of here alive. If they do anything, open season. So they're on the roof. Yuki and Yuno are on the roof. Nishijima is still behind them, and Yuki's apologizing for getting Yuno into this and basically being the useless weakling that he is. I love insulting Yuki. It's so much fun. It's so easy. They kiss, and then they fall off the roof. Supposed suicide until Nishijima looks down, and there is a covered truck that's right there, basically breaking their fall. So then they're hiding out in a shed. The news is saying that these two suspects are still at large, and basically their diary says, like, yeah, we're still going to die tomorrow unless we hang out here. So they got to wait there. There's no food. There's not a bathroom, as Yuno points out, where she just goes behind a stack of boxes to go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Yuki's just thinking about donuts. As the typical 14-year-old... Oh, who am I kidding? I'd be thinking about donuts too. I want a donut right now, just because I brought it up. And he's like, yeah, my dad makes really delicious homemade donuts. And Yuno's like, why did your parents split up? I don't know. I don't know anything that adults do. Just look at Fourth. Which is kind of a good point. And then Yuki's like, do you smell that? And Yuno blushes. Sorry, no, I smell donuts. So there we go. We're talking about donuts again. And we find Kursu's wife. And she's bringing donuts to a hospital. Who is she visiting? It's not her husband. He's still at the police station. So while they're in there spying on his wife, there is an explosion by the window. We know who that is. Hello again, Ninth. So then, Ninth is dressed like a nurse and has Yuki hostage, has him by the throat or whatever, and she's got the button ready to hit. She's got a touchpad here, like an iPad kind of thing or something. And while he's trying to break free, he accidentally touches that, which causes explosions basically around them. And he's like, "No, you idiot! You trying to kill us?" She's like, Yuno's like, hold on, my love, let me drop a ladder for you. And so then they're arguing, going back and forth of, Yuki wants to go first, and she's like, no, Ninth's like, no, you're just going to kick the ladder out of the way and leave me stranded here. No, we won't do that. Well, I won't give you a reason to. Let me climb first, so that way I'm sure that I'm going to be safe. And, Ninth says, why don't we make a temporary truce? Which causes her cell phone to ring, and Kursu's like, Ninth, I know what you're trying, don't do it. And she's like, oh, relax, I'm just buying some time. And Yuki's like, I knew it. I knew I couldn't trust you. Hold on. Just come back here, alright? I said we're having a truce. And Fourth's like, don't do it. And she's like, I'm just buying you time. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't trust an adult. And then everybody's complaining all at once. Yuno's like, don't worry, my love. I won't ever betray you. And Yuki's like, oh, what do I do? Because he's useless. And then Ninth's like, F you! So satisfying. And then Ninth gets dead end on her phone. So yeah, so then she's got Yuki like this as she walks across the ladder, and they get to the hospital room where Fourth's wife was, and we find that Fourth's son is hospitalized with 3 weeks to live in the outside world. So that was his motivation all along. And that's why he needed Ninth to dress up like a nurse? I don't get it. We have somebody who knows how to blow things up and shoot things. We haven't seen any experience of her being a nurse yet, but apparently, unless it's to protect his son, and that's why she's dressed as a nurse, or maybe she actually does have some medical background, I don't know. That doesn't get answered. Why is she disguised as a nurse? Why is Fourth putting his son in Ninth's hands when she probably or possibly may not have any way to actually help with that? So that could be an issue I have with this episode, is that, although seeing Ninth and Yuki and Yuno all team up against Fourth is actually pretty satisfying, because Fourth is a scumbag now. We don't like Fourth, and I want to see him go down. As evident in what Ninth's saying. It's like, oh, by the way, our temporary truce, that's until we kill Ninth, or kill Fourth. Which is kind of strange to say in front of his own wife and son, although the son's unconscious, but his wife's like, oh, hello, you're a nurse, and oh, I met you two at the wedding thing, and she's like just unfazed by this whole conversation of explosions and killing Kursu. Like, most wives would be like, wait, you want to kill my husband? Like, there was no freaking out or anything. In fact, they're just chowing down on the donuts that they had in the room. And Yuki's like, well, okay. So that's how that episode ends. We have the murmur moment, where this one's one of my favorite murmur moments. It's pretty hilarious. So you have Murmur dressed as Kursu. So it would be Murmasu, Coors? I don't know. Murmasu. I like that. Anyway, she's disguised as him, and she's standing on top of a chair. Nishijima walks in. She's like, Nishijima's like, something about you seems different. And staring at this obvious murmur dressed as Kursu. Is that a new suit? No, this is the same suit that I always wear. And so they're talking, and she's like, I want a big bowl of katsudon. Did I say that right? Some big bowl of whatever, and she's talking about how delicious it was. And so then she goes all interrogation on him and says, it's like, you need to talk. And he's like, you want me to say something? Oh, come on, you gotta act. We got, like, what's the point of being a cop if you're not gonna do cop show references? He's like, oh, okay. And so he's like, it was me, I'm the guy you're looking for. And so then you have this, like, weird moment, and Murmasu's just looking at him, like, with tears in her eyes or whatever. And then it's the next day, and the real Kursu walks up to Nishijima, and he's like, hey, want to get something to eat? He's like, right ahead of you, Chief. I already got a bowl of katsudon and the interrogation. You won't believe what I thought up next for our role-playing. He's like, what? So yeah, that was a great murmur moment. Pretty solid episode. You got to see Yuno go crazy slightly for a few minutes. They're on the run now. Stakes are a lot higher. Because now we know that we can't trust Fourth. So it's pretty much Yuki and Yuno against the world again, as we thought it would be from the beginning. We thought we can rely on Fourth, but he's got his own agenda now. He wants to save his son, which is understandable. But selling out those two kids like that, not cool. He should have at least waited until everybody else is eliminated first, and then, I don't know, that's still a scumbag move. I don't know. He's just a scumbag. Wants to save his own son, but willing to throw two kids into the wolves for his own satisfaction. Not cool. Meanwhile, Ninth, who was the bad guy, is kind of a good guy, sorta, with at least temporarily a good guy, siding with Yuki and Yuno at least for a little bit. So yeah, what'd you think of this episode? I thought Fourth was a scumbag, and Yuno's crazy moments were fun. Yuki actually committed a crime this episode, and that put him on the most wanted list for right now. So what's going to happen next? They're on the run, and stakes keep getting higher. But we haven't... it's been a few episodes since... I don't know where I was going with that statement. Anyway, comment in the comment section below. I hope you've been enjoying Future Diary, and I hope you're enjoying the vlogs. I hope I'm sounding a lot more coherent in these last couple episodes, because I actually have notes in front of me. That's kind of a first. It's something I thought I would try to see if I'm able to... It's kind of working. Anyway, I will catch you in the next vlog, where we will maybe see what happens with Fourth and possibly Ninth. We'll find out then, and I'll catch you then.